recently came across a video of a friend of mine from high school that I hadn't seen in years. Turns out, he started his own video game production company and is now developing a game with corporate funding. The video features interviews with the production team and my friend, and they talked about how much they risked in pursuing this venture. He and his partner put everything on the line. One guy gave up his pursuit of a PhD in mathematics of all things, and the other quit his construction job. They uprooted from Wichita and moved to New York City to see if they could make it. Whether they become millionaires is largely irrelevant. We can learn something from them. Sometimes it's better to create a job than to look for a new one. I wouldn't know the first thing about starting a business, though. Presumably, you create a business plan and then you get a loan from a bank. That's what they do in the movies. There are resources out there to help you along with that process. The aforementioned friend of mine used Kickstarter to get the word out. That's one way to do it, I suppose. But the point is that as ignorant as you feel, and as I am about the subject, everyone who has ever done anything on their own was in your exact same position at one point. So don't let it throw you off course. This is not even about starting a business, really. It's about rethinking our options after we graduate. Some people, experts even, suggest that college might be a waste of time for certain people. Hindsight's 20/20 on that one for sure. The point is that students get caught up in predictable narratives. Graduate high school, go to college, get a job. The rest is history. And for some, that's exactly how it works out. Good for them. For the rest of us, we have to be a little more creative, a little more daring. And that's what it all comes down to, really. What are you willing to risk? That's not a rhetorical question. You should answer that for yourself now. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get what you want? It's important to establish personal thresholds early before you perceive yourself as being pot committed or too deeply invested to back out. Make a list of things you're not willing to give up. Make them as specific as possible, not things like happiness. If those things are ever in jeopardy, trust yourself to back away and think twice. This measure is to preserve whatever integrity you think you might possess. For those of us with little integrity to begin with, the list is pretty short. I'll give you a moment to think that over. Oh, that's awful. Good. Now, it's just a matter of setting into motion the events that will culminate in your eventual success. That's another thing. Define what success is. Some people are happy with not very much. Others constantly need to move the goal line further and further down the road. Determine, with as much precision as you can muster, your standards. When and if you reach them, it's worth celebrating. I suggest baking a lasagna and calling up exes to gloat about your success. Oh, also, you might fail. You might fail big time. My friend with the video company, he might go bankrupt. That would suck, but I'm sure that potentiality is nothing new to him. If you want an example of the risks involved, just walk down Commercial Street and count how many vacant buildings there are. A telltale sign of risk unrewarded. April, coincidentally, is Stress Awareness Month, and for those who are somehow ignorant of their own stress, the starting of a business is right up your alley. Everyone else who takes a major risk or starts a business should understand that the anxiety associated with it can be debilitating. This is how heart attacks, chronic alcoholism, and stunted libidos form. The only surefire cure to anxiety is baking a lasagna and calling exes to lie about your success. Really, I don't have any good method of dealing with stress or anxiety other than solving the problem that caused it. That's a novel idea. Don't displace your stress, but create an environment that forecloses it. That's the point, after all, to create something in order to make yourself happy. There's no guarantee that everything is going to work out well for you, but in my personal experience, it's at least comforting to know that your fate is your own. Your imminent degree from ESU is not a ticket to Happy Town, USA. At best, it's a map that we choose to follow or divert from. Either choice has its risks. You could end up financially solvent and on the verge of a homicidal rampage, or you could end up broke and satisfied with what you created, or some sort of strange combination of both. You'll never know for certain unless you try. And it's always true that the bigger risk lies in doing nothing at all. Well, that's it for now. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you all in the square.